Gritters. Welcome to the Big Ten preview. We're going to go ahead and break down this conference and talk about some of the top teams and top players in this conference and see how it's going to shape up for this season.
My Big Ten rankings, I'm going to go off with Nellis. They were just recently inside the Big Ten championship game, and I think that defensively and organizationally they're just going to be that much better than most of the other teams in the conference. And I don't think there's really a standout offensive team in the conference. So I really believe that the championship is going to be the strongest defense. Number 2, I'm going to go with Lockdown. Best QB in the conference. I think Brad gets it done. I just don't think that he has the talent around him in order to bring home that trophy. Second to none. I mean, nobody really knows who they have in between games, never less than seasons. But any team that has Randall and Justin Mays, I think they're going to win just enough games. And really, they're an X factor. They could actually take the entire thing. You never know. We have Bulldogs, probably self-described the best quasi-quarterback in the history of the league, and Falco. I think that you never know what they're going to have talent-wise, but if I hear it correctly, they should be a tough team to beat week in and week out. Next, we're going to go with the Wolverines. Nobody knows too much about them other than most of their players play in the semi-pro league, so hopefully they don't lay an egg like the rest of the semi-pro teams that have come over to the flag league. Geek Squad and other guys, I mean, they can flip-flop between the last 2 spots. Nobody really knows too much about them. They're going to have a tough go the entire season. I mean, tough it out, guys. That's all I can say. It gets better in time. So, what do you think, Falco?
Well, Don, our rankings don't really differ all that much. I obviously have Nellis at the top. I mean, they did win get to the Big Ten championship just last season. The Fly Boys really keep it organized. They practice a lot. They're going to obviously bring in some new guys, so they should definitely be around. Lockdown, of course, at number 2. Brad is by far the best QB in this conference. The question will be how they play well together, and can he keep his head together long enough to play a full season where he doesn't self-destruct on his team. Second to none, like Forrest Gump said, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. It's exactly what they provide. From what I understand, Justin Mays will be now playing QB, so unless he's going to throw to himself, we really don't know what their offense is going to be like. But we do know for sure Randall's going to definitely tear up the D-line. Fourth on the Bulldogs, just to save myself, I am not the best quasi-QB in the history of the league. I'm going to have to give that to my teammate, BB. He is by far a very unheralded player. Next, I'm going to also agree with the Wolverines. We don't know what J-Dub's going to bring, and if their semi-pro team can adjust to the flag game. I mean, they have some very experienced flag players, so they very well could be a difference maker. Next is the Geek Squad. They have played flag before, but they've been off for a few seasons, and they're new to this league, so how they adjust, I mean, it's going to be tough. The other guys are a bunch of young guys, a bunch of young kids, so how fast they can adjust to the different game and how they adjust to organizing themselves will be a key. It is going to be a tough season, be a learning experience, but they're only going to be that much better for the next season. How do you feel about some of the players to watch in this conference?
Well, for the players to watch, I mean, you have to start first and foremost with the reigning Big Ten MVP. The last time he was there with Randall, Denson was second to none. I mean, defensively, I think he led the entire league in sacks the season he was in the Big Ten. And offensively, anytime he touches the ball, he could go house. Best QB in the league, I would say, Brad, of course, it's hands down. I don't think anybody else, other than possibly J-Dub, is an established QB. I know Nellis goes through QBs like toilet paper, even though their coach does a very good job of recruiting D1 players if you read the forum. And, second to none, we're going to see what Justin does this season. I mean, every receiver believes that he can throw the ball. When he gets out there and he sees the rush, it's usually a different story. And the Bulldogs, I mean, they're collecting QBs, so we'll see what they can do. I mean, as far as quasi-QBs, I don't know about BB being the best in the league or even close to it. So he's definitely the biggest. I'll go with that. Wolverines, I mean, J-Dub, of course. Anybody else that he brings off of his semi-pro team, I'm assuming they're going to be athletic, considering he did have Elite, which was one of the most athletic teams in the history of the league. And then the other 2 teams, I'm not really sure of who they got, so we're going to have to see on Sundays. What do you think?
Well, I mean, obviously, hands down, Brad is going to be the top QB in the league. The question will be, can he, when adversity happens, he tends to blow up on his team, and a lot of times that knocks away a lot of momentum and can keep them out of games. With Nellis, obviously, they have the best set of sunglasses in the conference with T-Money. What they can do on offense, we don't know yet, but Nellis is always a wild card. You never know what they're going to bring out from season to season. Second to none, we know Justin should never drop a snap because he's got good hands at receiver, so the question will be how their offense works. We know Randall's going to beast on the D-line. And as far as the Bulldogs, they are collecting some QBs. They're probably going to have some surprises for some people. And I think they're definitely going to be an X factor in this conference. With the Wolverines, I mean, you know J-Dub's been around for a while. I believe he kept some of his elite players also, so you know they're going to have some athletes and some speed. The Geek Squad and the other guys, again, we really don't know too much about, so there's no really standout players. As far as we know with the other guys, they're young, so they should hopefully be fast. Other than that, we really don't know too much, other than that. So we got the best sunglasses, we got the biggest quasi, and we got the best QB.
Yeah, I think the conference is definitely going to be won by a defensive team. Like I said, I think that's why we both agreed on Nellis and maybe even Lockdown, just because they're such an experienced team. They do have the best QB. I think they'll keep the score down just enough for Brad to have a chance to win a game. Going forward, I think this is going to be a very exciting conference, especially with the new teams we're going to see. I mean, hopefully they surprise us.
Very well could. Thank you for tuning into the Big Ten preview, and we look to see you during the season.